Prince Harry was born into one of the most famous families in the world. As the younger son of King Charles III and Princess Diana, he grew up surrounded by historic castles, private estates, security teams, and staff, but here's the first important detail. The British royal family doesn't work like a typical billionaire family. Harry wasn't handed a personal fortune at birth. The Crown Estate, which funds much of the monarchy, belongs to the state. It's not private property that he could simply sell growing up. Harry's expenses were covered by his father through the Duchy of Cornwall. That income paid for travel, staff, clothing, and public duties. It gave him access to luxury, but not direct ownership of vast wealth still. His lifestyle was elite from day one. Private schooling at Eton military training, worldwide tour security everywhere. It was a life most people will never experience. He grew up in Kensington Palace and spent time at Highgrove House, his father's country estate. These weren't just large homes. They were historic properties with teams of gardeners, chefs, drivers, and aides. Even routine activities were different from normal life. School drop-offs involved protection officers. Vacations meant ski trips in the Alps or official royal tours in far-off countries. There's also the invisible wealth that comes with royalty. Access, influence, connections. From childhood, Harry met world leaders, presidents, military commanders, and global celebrities. That kind of network is impossible to measure financially, but it carries enormous power at the same time. Being the spare to Prince William shaped his role. He wasn't expected to be king, which gave him more freedom, but also less direct control over the institution's future assets. His position meant privilege, but it also meant he would always operate slightly outside the main line of succession. So yes, he was born into extraordinary wealth, but it was structured wealth, institutional, carefully managed, and never fully as to own. The first major personal fortune Harry received came from his mother. When Princess Diana died in 1997, she left an estate estimated at around £21 million before taxes. After fees and taxes, it was reduced, but Harry and Prince William each reportedly inherited around £10 to £13 million when they turned 30. That inheritance became Harry's financial foundation. He also likely received money from the Queen Mother's Trust, although exact numbers have never been publicly confirmed. So, while he was wealthy by any normal standard, we're talking millions, not billions. Very comfortable, very secure, but nowhere near trillionaire status. What made Diana's inheritance especially meaningful wasn't just the money, it represented independence for the first time. Harry had personal funds that were not controlled by royal structures or dependent on annual allocations from his father. Reports suggest that the money was invested for years before he gained access to it. Smart financial management likely helped grow the total value. With investment returns over time, that inheritance may have increased significantly before he ever touched it. There was also something symbolic about it. Diana was known for her independence, her emotional openness, and her willingness to challenge royal norms. In many ways, that inheritance gave Harry the ability to make bold decisions later in life without being financially trapped. When he and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, he publicly stated that it was his mother's inheritance that helped fund their move to the United States. That detail matters. It shows that even decades later, Diana's legacy played a role in shaping his path still. Even with growth and smart investing, we're looking at wealth in the tens of millions range. Significant, yes. Generational, absolutely. But not on the scale of global tech billionaires or oil dynasties. It gave him freedom. It gave him security. It did not give him a financial empire. In 2020, Harry and Meghan Markle made a historic decision. They stepped back from their roles as senior working royals. That move changed everything financially. When they left, they stopped receiving funding from the Duchy of Cornwall. They also agreed to repay around £2.4 million in public funds that had been used to renovate Frogmore Cottage for the first time in his life. Harry needed independent income, and this is where things get interesting. Leaving the royal system meant losing guaranteed institutional support. No more automatic funding for staff, no more publicly financed travel, no more built-in royal infrastructure handling logistics behind the scenes. They also lost access to publicly funded security, which became one of the biggest financial challenges. High-level private security for globally recognized figures can cost millions per year. That's an ongoing expense, not a one-time payment. At the same time, stepping back opened the door to commercial opportunities that would have been impossible as senior royals. Working members of the royal family are restricted from monetizing their titles or signing entertainment deals. Once outside that system, Harry was free to build private ventures. A decision was risky. Walking away from a centuries-old institution without a guaranteed income stream is not a small move. Public reaction was intense. Media coverage was constant. Every financial decision became headline news, but from a business perspective, it positioned Harry in a new category, no longer a working royal. Not quite a private citizen either. Something in between. A global figure with massive public interest and the freedom to negotiate his own contracts. That shift turned him from institutionally supported royalty into a brand, and brands could be extremely profitable. Shortly after moving to California, Harry and Meghan signed major commercial deals. Their Netflix agreement was reportedly worth up to $100 million. Through this deal, they produced documentaries and series, including the highly watched Harry and Meghan docuseries. They also signed a Spotify deal reportedly worth around $20 million. That partnership eventually ended, but it still represented a huge shift. Harry was no longer funded by royal institutions. He was now operating like a global celebrity entrepreneur. Then came his memoir. Spare the Book became one of the fastest-selling nonfiction books ever. Reports suggest he received a multi-million-dollar advance, possibly around $20 million, ad speaking engagements, media projects, and brand power. And suddenly Harry's income streams look more like a Hollywood executive than a traditional prince. But here's what's important. These headline numbers don't automatically mean cash in hand. Large media deals are often structured around performance, production budgets, and deliverables. The total reported value may include multiple projects over several years still. Even after production costs and taxes, the income is significant. The docuseries alone drew massive global attention. Love it or criticize it, people watched. That kind of viewership strengthens negotiating power for future deals. Then there are speaking engagements. High-profile global figures can command six-figure fees per appearance. Add partnerships with mental health initiatives and nonprofit ventures, and you see a diversified income model emerging. What's different now is that Harry's wealth is tied to media output and public engagement. It's performance-based, reputation-based, and dependent on audience interest. That's very different from receiving structured royal funding at high risk. It places him firmly in the celebrity business world rather than traditional monarchy. Now, let's talk about lifestyle. Harry and Meghan live in Montecito, California, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the United States. Their home reportedly costs around $14 million a property, includes multiple bedrooms, a large garden, a pool, and plenty of privacy. They also pay significant security costs, which can run into millions per year for high-profile figures. They travel privately at times. They attend exclusive events. They move in circles that include billionaires, tech founders, and Hollywood elites on the outside. It looks like unlimited wealth. Montecito itself is known for privacy and power. Neighbors reportedly include major celebrities, media executives, and business leaders. Living their places Harry in a completely different social ecosystem than the traditional royal environment in the UK. The home reportedly includes office space for their foundation and media operations. That means it's not just a residence. It's part of their business infrastructure, but luxury also comes with costs. Property taxes on a $14 million home are substantial. Staff salaries, maintenance, landscaping, insurance, and security all add up quickly. California living at that level requires continuous income flow, unlike royal estates, which are maintained by institutional funding. This property is privately owned. Every expense is personal or business-based. They also invest in branding, legal teams, and professional advisors. Public figures at that level operate more like small corporations than individuals. So, yes, the lifestyle is elite. The home is stunning. The circles are powerful, but sustained by contracts, investments, and ongoing work, not by a hidden trillion-dollar fortune sitting untouched in a royal vault.